So hi, this is Sue for Parkies and Me, My Journey with Parkinson's. So recently I had an incident where I was mistaken for being a different age. So all my life I have had people who've thought that I was much younger than I am, blessed with good skin, and so I don't have that many wrinkles on my face, which is quite nice. And so often people have thought that I'm younger than I am, but my recent experience was quite different. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a poem about how people recognise your age, I suppose. Anyway, it's called Beware the Grey-Haired Granny, and there's a bit of my experiences through the years of people's reaction to what they think is my age. Anyway, it's called Beware the Grey-Haired Granny. First of all, I need to say that this is not a boast. People think I'm younger, and that's been said the most. I have been blessed with youthful skin, at least upon my face. It may be far from youthful in every other place. At 18 I was married and looked like a child bride. At 20 years my son was born. I showed him off with pride. I put my baby in his pram and took him for a walk. As I passed people in the street, I felt that they would talk about the teenage mum that had just walked on by. I made sure I would flash my ring. I really don't know why. As teenagers, we're often told we are not old enough to get to do a lot of things we felt that was too tough. When at the pub one night I really was too young, was asked if I had voted, I should have bit my tongue. With music blaring in my ear, I shouted much too loud, I didn't vote, I'm much too young. Thank goodness for the crowd. I looked around and luckily the bouncer did not hear, or I would soon be banned and no more drinking beer. For many years it was a pest when trying to buy booze. If I did not have my ID, the shops would just refuse. When I became a nana, when many years had passed, if I told someone I just met, they often were aghast. Why, you don't look old enough to be somebody's gran. It always made me feel real good to say, well, yes, I am. My hair was darker in my youth, but later had to dye it. But I decided to go grey. At least I thought I'd try it. It was quite liberating, at least it was at first. But then, some time later, the bubble was to burst. I was at the supermarket getting some supplies. What happened next, it came as a surprise. I was stopped beside my car and searching for my keys. A younger man came up and said, "Can I help with these?" He picked up all my bags, put them in the car for me. I wondered when he saw me, what did he then see? It must have been the white hair that made me seem so old, but he was such a nice young man, I couldn't really scold. I didn't say, "Hey, look here, you, I can handle my own stuff." It would seem quite ungrateful to respond to him so gruff. I notice too that when I'm out and I come to a door, they get held open for me, much more than before. So maybe going grey, it may then have its perks. If people are more courteous, then I say greyness works. So being grey can be quite nice and gain me more respect, but greyness brought me something that I did not expect. In hospital I was visiting, my uncle was unwell. My cousin too was there, now here's a tale to tell. A nursing aide was stationed to watch my Uncle Jeff. A comment then was made, "I'm glad my unc's quite deaf." We had a little chat, and then towards the end, he turned to me and said, "Your husband's on the mend." "Excuse me," I said grumpily. "How old do I look, matey?" "I am his niece, not his wife. Do I look like I am 80? On hearing this, my darling coz, the right pain in the bum, she had the cheek to back him up, and then she called me mum. So all my life there's many folk have guessed my age quite wrongly, but I preferred those younger days, yes, I preferred them strongly. For no one minds at all when they reach middle age, if they are thought much younger when they're at that stage. So when the aide had wrongly guessed I was my uncle's wife, the cheeky little bastard, he really risked his life. For we don't like that others can get our age so wrong. I yearn for days of younger times, we now do not belong. So if you want to get along, be clever, yes, be canny. Don't risk the ire of one like me. Beware the grey-haired granny. Just a little. I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little bit of fun. A fun little poem about how different ages and stages affect us. So this has been Sue for Parkies and Me, my journey with Parkinson's. Kia kaha, be brave, be strong, be you.